Let's speak now to the founder of the Centre for Ancestral Justice, Gogo Tsoana Nhlapo, who attended the Commission's pre-hearings and has been fighting for justice for the victims of the Sharpeville massacre. Gogo Tsoana, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Good morning. Thanks, Hugo.
So for the families who've waited so long, what does the start of these hearings actually mean? Is it a moment of hope, or is it all about cautious skepticism?
I think it's a moment. It's both. It's a moment of hope for the Credog 4, because this commission was set up around their pursuit of justice. But also it's a moment of gloom for people who don't fall within the bracket of the Khampepe Commission, which is set to start the investigation from 2007, if I'm not wrong. What happens to the people of Sharpeville? Because the interference started back then in apartheid, when they instituted things like the Indemnity Act, indemnifying everybody who was there along the side of the government. So, and that comes for Soweto, Bipatong, Thokoza, and everything else in between. So it's both ways, I feel.
So let's talk about the conversations that you've had with some people on the ground. What are their thoughts?
They need justice, and I'm going to speak specifically to Sharpeville, because for the longest time we've always been told that it was 69 people who died and 180 people. And the people who were there, our grandmothers, always told us that the number is not correct. And about 2-3 years ago, we found proof from the National Archives that says we're at least sitting at 91 people that died on that day. And if we have 69 graves, 69 names at the memorial site, where's the missing 26? You know, so there are people that's still sitting with who don't know what happened to their people. But there's autopsy report, there's their names, there's addresses, there's age on you know, how old they were at the time. So to them it's like, okay, if we're going, the Khampepe is going to concentrate on this period, what happens to us who still are living with unanswered questions?
So the Commission is not reinvestigating the actual murders, right?
Yes.
But rather political interference that stopped the prosecutions.
Yes.
Why is this distinction so important?
I think, well, like I said, it boils down to the Kalata case, because when we attended the pre-hearings, most of the conversation was between their lawyers and the NPA, and, you know, trying to exchange documents and questions in between. But everybody else that fell outside of the bracket of 2007 could not. And there were people from Soweto there who wanted answers. There were people from Bipatong there who needed answers. A lot of people needed answers. So what we're saying is the interference did not start now. It started in 1960 when they started indemnifying everything else in between. You know, so with this, we would have thought if the Galata case brought this to the attention of the president, who will at least go back, because if they're concentrating on TRC chose specifically to start investigating from the Sharpeville massacre, but a lot was not done there, you know. And so we feel, as the community of Sharpeville, that the interference continued. Even naming Sharpeville Day Human Rights Day without going back to finding the exact details. I mean, this information was there all along. So how did they move from Sharpeville Day to Human Rights Day without investigation? So interference happened in apartheid and continues to happen even now.
We are going to talk about Sharpeville, because that is a case that is continuing separately. And I know that's something that's very, very close to your heart.
Yes.
But we talk about the Commission not reinvestigating the actual murders, but the political interference. Is this enough for the victims, families, for their members to, I mean, is that going to be enough? Are those answers going to be enough, or is there a greater expectation?
I think there's a greater expectation to say that after finding out there was interference, then they will find answers as to why the people that were still alive, the perpetrator that was still alive, they waited until the last one died, you know. And as much as it's not going to bring back the people that passed, we also have to see and compare if there are similarities between the apartheid government and the democratic government in terms of interfering with justice, where the state is acting against people and the civilians.
So can you explain to us why the Sharpeville case is being pursued outside of the high-profile commission? Because
people need answers. You know, like I said, if there are 26 people who are missing, their names in the graves that don't match the names on the documents and also on the memorial site, there's a lot that has not been uncovered there, you know. And the big question is, why Sharpeville? This was a nationwide campaign. Prophet Sobukwe was marching in Soweto. Why was Sharpeville targeted like that and that heavy arms? You know, it's not something that you just decide instantly on the morning of. So why? Why that particular township? And why so much heavy arms to an extent that now we know our grandparents used to say there were helicopters or fighter jets hovering over Sharpeville. And with the information that we got, we've just learned that there was over 10. Township is Sharpeville is very small. It's a very small township. You know, why do you need so much heavy arms for people who are unarmed?
It also then raises the question around political will, right? It's been years since the conclusion of the TRC, right? And in between, many people have died who were witnesses, individuals who could have been held accountable, right? It almost suggests that this is an attempt, if you will, to silence the critics by having this commission at a time when any discovery of information, because so many people are dead, is not really going to give all the answers or appease those that need to be appeased. Are you of that sentiment?
Yes, I am. And the question is why? These people were alive, you know. Some, unlike the Sharpeville, the other cases in the TRC named the perpetrators. They were waiting to be arrested or to be prosecuted. And somehow the dockets are missing, you know, somehow this is not happening until the very last one of them dies. 2 years ago, there was still one of the policemen who shot in Sharpeville. He was 80-something. I doubt if he's still alive. So why do we wait over 30 years? And if we have a chance to prosecute because the documents are there, the conclusions were there, why are we starting at the investigation of the interference? We're still wasting time that we don't have.
Now, final thoughts, and that's besides, obviously, establishing the truth, your group is also pursuing a claim for constitutional damages.
Yes.
And I had a conversation a little earlier with one of my colleagues. Why is financial redress so important? And whom do you expect to make the financial redress?
It's not even enough. It's the least I think the people deserve, you know, because the people who are still living with bullets, the people who lost their parents, and financial redress is the least that the people could ask for, because we can't even put value on it to say how much. You know, the 30,000 that they gave some of the people that made it to the list is not enough. You know, some people still didn't have, how did they choose, you know? But what happens is that the ripple effects of that massacre in the families, they're still very much impoverished. Their children, their grandchildren are still suffering from all of that. And if money is the least that they could ask for, why not get it?
Do you have an idea of the sort of numbers that you'd be looking at?
I wish I did, no.
Okay, so maybe let's not talk about a specific figure in rand terms, right? But let's talk about the lives of these individuals, right? And what would change their lives. Is it an institutional attempt to come into the community of Sharpeville and provide resources or facilities, right? Because money's going to finish, right? But if you equip these individuals, the families that are impacted with skills, for instance, you know, then they can pick up the pieces, so to speak.
Definitely. And like I said, Sharpeville is a very small township, right? Efforts could have been made to make, if we're going to name a holiday after human rights, don't only come on the 21st of March to come and celebrate, you know, on the day. So a lot could have been done. The investment that was put there, white elephants, you know, community, the young people. Lerato, this boy who just committed suicide, you know, there are no facilities for kids like that to, if you are bullied at school, then you can go to somewhere to go, you know, do arts or something like that. But as a story, Sharpeville is multi-layered. There are over 200 homes of people who died. That is a tourist route on its own. But none of those attempts were made, you know. Instead, we slept lie over lie and cover up over cover up. And now nobody can benefit, not even the very people whose parents and grandparents were affected by the massacre.
So as we wrap the conversation, Khampepe Commission commencing tomorrow, what for you would be the ideal outcome?
This is me rooting for the Kalata group because their noise made our voice to be heard as well. So I wish they get what they're looking for. They get to know who, you know, because essentially when you look at this is ANC fighting itself. Kalata was from a ANC royal family. So if they can do that to them, what chance do we have?
Very important question, and that's where we're going to leave that conversation.